All right, Miranda, thanks. And joining us now is the attorney and radio host, Adam Thompson. You can hear the Adam Thompson Show on Blog Talk Radio, and you can catch Adam here on Newsmax TV from time to time. Adam, it's great to talk to you.
Great. Thanks for having me on. Great coming back.
All right, just before we went away for the weekend, we learned some news. The Obama administration's spring agenda was just released. And just like the 2014 fall agenda, which came out just before Thanksgiving, it contains some high-priced items, some additional regulatory measures, which will at least annoy business leaders in this country. Just before these federal holidays, Adam, I wanted to ask you, is this a common practice we expect from our government, trying to sneak this stuff by us?
Well, listen, it seems like all administrations right at that last second want to slip in these new regulations in the hopes that the ones that are controversial will be passed over because everyone's out either water skiing or playing some golf or doing something like that. So this is pretty much par for the course for all administrations. They usually take this tact.
Now, President Obama is a lawyer by trade. Is this something all lawyers do to us, Adam?
Hey, listen, I'm a lawyer too. You lumping me in that crowd? Listen, I'm transparent about everything. I would do it as soon as possible, unlike all these prior administrations. So I hope that maybe I'll change the trend if I get elected.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly raises some question marks. Now, the most expensive portion of this agenda is the so-called, or is supposed to lower the ozone standard. The National Association of Manufacturers issued a report with that new standards that will reduce the GDP by $140 billion. At least that is what they say. And over a 23-year period, also make it the costliest regulation in U.S. history. Hard to predict what's going to happen 23 years from now. What do you think about this new regulation? Do you think those are accurate numbers to describe this policy?
Well, it's hard to say because a regulation that's passed today, as we know, there's another election coming in 2016. So what's a law today and what we'll all be doing now could instantly change if a new administration gets in and thinks that it's ineffective, and they'll just pass a new regulation to overrule it or end it. So, where it's going to be in a couple of years or in 10 years, who knows? The goal, though, is good to lower emissions. If we're going to try to improve, the quality of the ozone layer and improve breathability and reduce carbons, I'm all for that. I think the more we go green, the better. But it's costly to do that. That's why it's been moving so slowly up until this point, which is a shame because the only way we're going to get changes and improve the environment is by putting the money behind it, whether it's going to be solar or wind or whichever direction we go. But things need to go in that direction. So I'm glad that this is being done.
Well, that's it, right, Adam? A lot of folks want to say that, yes, we need a cleaner environment, but they don't necessarily want to pay the cost. We rely so heavily on cheap oil still to this day, and folks don't want to pay the extra amount of money to change, to transition over to greener forms of energy. The EPA says the cost of reaching these new standards will be over $16 billion, but the health benefits, meantime, will be worth $38 billion, more than double the cost, they say. Do you believe the EPA on this?
Well, I'm always the skeptic with all these numbers because they want to give the most favorable number when they put out this kind of thing, so everyone jumps on board. I don't know if it's really going to be close to that figure they're giving, but in the big picture, you got to pay to play. You want things to improve. You want to move in this direction. You have to invest in infrastructure, things like this. It takes a lot of money to do it, and at some point, you got to jump in. You just got to jump in.
Pay to play. That's an excellent way to put it. We hear Congress talking about this gas tax to pay for more infrastructure in this country, but not a lot of Americans warming up to that idea because they're not exactly sure how Congress is going to handle more taxes and more of our hard-earned money. Adam Thompson, always great to be with you. Thanks so much for stopping by, and good to see you in the studio today, so to speak.
It's great being down here in South Florida. Thanks for having me on, John.
All right, Adam. Adam Thompson's attorney coming up for us. We're going to have more here on Newsmax Now. We're going to talk to a couple more attorneys. Mark Meckler is going to be with us, and also Ron Haas. We're going to talk about where things stand with the Patriot Act right now. Everything is on hold while lawmakers take a break. And also, we're going to talk about that case in Cleveland. Protest over the weekend, relatively calm here after a police officer was acquitted in the shooting deaths of 2 men. Ron Hosko, Mark Meckler, back with us with more here on Newsmax Now after this.